start this mess or whatever this is going to end up being.
Oh.
Nice. Excellent.
Perfectly timed.
So, for anyone watching this video, I'm Jordan, and this is my friend SwitzPeace, or as I'll probably end up referring to him, Evan.
Hi.
And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go through and watch the Washington Justice versus Boston Uprising match together. And we've both played competitive 6v6 before. I've played at collegiate level and also for a tournament of Janes. And my friend Evan here played with Nazareth Esports. And with Nazareth for Nevermore, in a Nevermore Esports thing. English is bad. Okay. So we wanted to take a look and find out what Washington did to take this series against the Boston Uprising 3-2. Since Justice has not exactly been the best team in the league, and Boston has been one of the most inconsistent teams in the league. So, we're going to take a look at that today. Are you ready to start, Evan?
Who will win? A bad team or a consistently inconsistent team? The world may never know.
May is the map editor of Overwatch.
Exactly, and we've seen this in the past. Some teams are brave, and exactly that. You see the wall going down there, cutting the Justice off from their spawn, from the main hallway, trying to force them onto the point and into an awkward spot. So long as they're out in the open, though, this could be awkward here for RCK, but he is going to try and cut the back line off, and that's going to lead to a kill on Giannis. Picture perfect. You cut those lines of sight. The healers...
Oh, that was a really good play right there. Cutting off the entire back line from their main tank.
For at least a couple seconds, and your team pounces on them. Boom, you get results.
That's the benefit. Now let's talk about the trade-off that you get of not running a D.Va. On the other side of things, Sleepy on Ana should be able to do whatever he wants with nades, with sleep darts, anything. There's no defense matrix up for Boston to be able to deal with it. It also means that Corey doesn't even have to worry about chuck and grabs, and you can just yeet it from downtown and connect.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's why D.Va is the most picked hero in the league, pretty much hands down.
As we can see in this card, Fusions is just all comms all the time.
It's so hard to play without. So we'll see. I mean, this is the trade. See if it pans out here for Boston Uprising. His Fusions is
a lot of focus fire on the Fusions.
He'll survive, no worries there.
Ooh,
and yep. Justice right now
nice shatter, but RCK got himself cut off in the back, like in the middle of Washington.
No, I believe that they're just going to try to stay alive here.
The double brig ult. But Washington should win this, since they're...
be able to get back here too. They're playing it passively. This is so smart.
Well, there's the grab getting thrown in.
Oh, shatter block. That's massive. Yanu should die here, and then yep, there goes the rest.
And you're trying to figure out why your team is struggling in this Overwatch League season. Just start sending them W keys on the keyboard. You get an initial pick like that, then you just meander around on the point. Problem with Washington is they don't.
I'm gonna agree with casters here. The Washington Justice seem to press W into their team.
They're always backing up.
They had Fusions down below half health multiple times, and all you need to do was run into him and kill him.
Yeah. I don't know if they were waiting for something, but yeah, that'll... Yeah, a grab that Boston couldn't do anything about. Then the bomb just placed right on top of them.
To fight that at 95%, you are one fight away. The moment it starts looking bad,
Corey can just yeet grabs because Boston's not playing D.Va.
One map, you have all the ultimates.
Yep, that's true. He gets a free grab.
They might wait around to see if they get rallied. Starts looking bad, you just give up, you reset. You already consider this up a one map. You have all the ultimates that you want to work with here. They ended up using a couple. They might wait around to see if they get rally from Blase. Come in with the rally, try to hit a shatter. I mean, Fusions is a god Reinhardt. I can't imagine you won't.
Just posturing right now.
Especially when you isolate
Oh,
the
they
opposing
tried to
Reinhardt.
isolate Giannis again, but Blase paid for it with his life.
Fusion's gonna be the next.
Yep, and there goes
Reset
Fusions,
now.
and
Boston doing a good
Boston's
job
just
here
going to
of
run
just
away.
hightailing it out. As soon as they lost the first man, there's like, right, turn tail, get back to spawn. The reason why you want to do that if you lose that first player is if you hang around, odds of you winning the
Washington
fight,
did a good W press right there.
odds of you giving your opponents a lot of ult charge,
Mhm.
huge.
They just get worse and worse.
So
and
just
now,
get out of dodge.
Boston's in a good spot. They could have played that really slow and waited for Rally. They will have rallied this fight around and also have a Graviton, have a Shatter, have a Blizzard, everything except Transcendence.
Well, rallies are in, armor's there. Fusions gets great nade on top of him. Sound Barrier gonna keep him alive though. And they're gonna be able to capitalize on this Boston, perhaps overextending, hoping to get the kill on Fusions. Janice goes down and so does Corey.
Yeah,
Corey gets
that's
frozen and then
a
boots
lost
into
fight.
the open maw of the Boston Uprising front line. Just a frozen mannequin ready
Yeah,
to
the
be
only way they
dispatched.
really could
Boston
have
should be able to take
outplayed
first
that
point.
with their
Yeah.
comp
Can anybody
is
get back here in touch in time?
if
It's not
Sun
looking
Sum
like
had been
it.
able to eat
We might
the
have, yeah, Sleepy's trying to run, but
Blizzard.
meant to be. So the Justice.
Because they don't have a transcendent system.
At least get control of the point.
That's the other thing is, like,
But Boston, to me, didn't
I would
look
have
like they were out of
preferred
control, or
that
like they were
Washington
worried
run this
anything. They looked like they had it
Zenyatta
all
for the
on.
It felt
transcendent
inevitable at
ceiling.
a certain point, but you look at the final
Because it's
score,
more
they're
effective against the
70%,
Blizzards, more effective against
And you
the
look at one of those very
Gravs
first
that they
fights
still
should've
can
won,
use.
And they just didn't pounce on it. They got RCK super
It's
early,
just more
they
effective
buffed right
overall.
walls, And they
Yeah,
just sat
like-
around the point, waited around, which is what Boston wanted.
Like,
They were
even
in control
without the
of
Diva
point.
to
They're
eat the
waiting for
biotic grenades and the
Look at the
sleep
percentage
darts,
on the
there
board.
wasn't a
But
whole
Boston,
lot
to me, didn't
that
look like they were out of control, or
you could
like
get
they were
from
worried at any point.
Ana.
They looked like they had it all unlocked.
It felt inevitable at a certain point, but you look at the final score, they're 70, waited around, which is what Boston wanted. They were in control of the point, they were waiting for respawns. They win that fight, then maybe you're 100%.
Back on it now because clearly it is better.
Okay.
And so Washington Justice still trying to find their feet. They're going to stick 3-3.
Boston's rolling
Boston
out on a
Uprising, though. Here we go. The fist
triple
is in play.
DPS.
Yeah, it's
Comp.
interesting because I mentioned this was not necessarily a
Very
factor.
interesting,
You used to
but
see
I like it.
on this map against all sorts of different TPS combinations. The issue
Washington's
is if you
gonna
to fight
swap
outside,
for the
you have to fight
Ana.
inside, and that's where the cage
Mhm.
This actually does make sense this time because they actually need the extra healing.
I wonder what
Since
the song
they're-
would sound like. Is it Arc
Although
just making
Blase
noise
just
there?
gonna
He gets
immediately
blasted against the wall
destroy
by Blase.
Arc.
Surprise, surprise.
And that's
I
first
like how we
cap.
get Sleepy going for the Ana. When you've only got really Fusions who has a lot of HP, you know, the Discord Orb, it's nice, it's dandy, but you could still try and put a little bit of pressure here. How are you, Beta? You guys sleep on Blase?
Oh.
Blase, he's surviving,
Blase.
barely.
Blaze's asleep and
with the bar up there
immediately
over top.
deleted.
Trying to zone them out. Now down one.
Who has a lot of HP, you know, the Discord Orb, it's nice, it's dandy, but you could still try and put a little bit of pressure here.
Are you skipping backwards?
How are you, Beta? You guys sleep on Blase? Blase, he's surviving, barely.
They just put the.
No, I'm not. My
over top.
video keeps
Trying
on
to zone them
freezing.
out. Now down one. That's
Oh.
an unresable position too. They're gonna be without this. So 6v5. Can Washington capitalize on a 6v5?
They had better be able to here. Although Color X is doing a great job right now building up to that barrage, 80% and counting. Hammering
Isolated.
damage into Janus. This is a big opportunity. What a great concuss nade. Perfect play from Hex. Excellent kill, just keeping Janus away from his team.
Blase dies again.
So sick. 29%
Washington
on
flips the
board for
point.
Boston.
And
The
that's
but there is
that.
a chance. It's
That's
lost though for
the
Boston.
fight.
That's why you don't want to play inside on that Pharah. He tried to get something big going. They're going to lose both parts of the Pharah and Mercy Pharmacy combination. Boston has to reset, and now this is the question now. Because it's a great composition to be able to hold outside, to be able to take first points and mess around in wide open spaces. Can you take a point back with a DPS combination?
Yeah, that's a question, because Blase isn't changing off the fist.
EMP Barrage. EMP Barrage is what you're going for here, and if it fails,
I was about to say, they do have the EMP, so I think they should be able to retake this point. Especially since they are playing goats, and they're going to be grouped up, so they're all going to get hit by this.
Nearly everybody,
That is
everybody
massive.
gets hacked. Perfect play.
Big
the combo's
play.
done. And that is going to be a very quick take here for Boston. They'll flip that point back. 45. Looks like it'll be up to like, what?
50.
48, yeah.
They didn't have
forward
beat,
now,
so they
Boston
couldn't
counting.
Very
try
close,
to
but this is where
like
you wanna
hide
be as a DPS
Arc
composition
and
too, hanging out
beat
outside,
after
hoping
the
that they walk in and being able to
beat
isolate
after
them,
the
which hasn't been
EMP
typical for
came
most
out.
teams against the tank line of
And even then,
Washington
it
Justice. They
probably
isolate
wouldn't have
themselves
worked
a lot of the
anyway.
time. However, Washington has some ultimates to work with. You start with Rally, of course.
Just wondering when are we going to see the plays here. Yep, there it is. Opportunity, and it's missed. SwitzPeace somehow survives it.
Sansum got 2 with the bomb, and that's fight.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Blase, I think, ran out of abilities, so that's why he got caught out, and then Color Hex.
Yeah. They don't really have any.
I don't know what happened to him.
For the meteor anyway, though, it's pretty much just an escape. At this level of
Just
play,
must not have been able to find a corner to hide behind.
No. I feel like now
A nice play there from Washington.
Boston should probably switch off of this DPS comp.
But right now, there's
Yeah,
nothing to
they've
stop this
got
early. There's nothing
EMP
to stop
Meteor
them.
Strike,
Enormous tank ultimates
and they're
coming
working
online.
up towards another barrage. But
okay, Nano goes
it's gonna
in.
be-
So that's gonna be Janus. That's his sign to go in and do some serious pain damage.
There's
There it is.
Ingod.
Ingod gets pinned.
Yeah, I was about to say the issue is I don't think they're going to stay alive long enough to even win the fight.
They aren't getting a bit cocky here, Hex.
Oh,
Well, they're getting kills now.
or maybe they will.
Fight for the resurrection. They dive deep. Sansem's now out of the mix, which means these rockets should be finding their targets.
Oh man, they don't have anything to work with on the side of Justice. How have they lost control of this situation? As Giannis chucked over the side by Blase.
Yeah, I have no idea how Justice lost this.
97% for Washington Justice.
They split themselves
And
up.
Boston still sticking to their guns.
One fight away for Washington to be able to tie
Like,
up this map to gain a point. The issue
Giannis
is
solo
the
shattered
that
and
they
got
have the
aim
closest
god,
one they have
but
coming online
then
is going to be Graviton. Again,
Sleepy,
no Tifa on the other
Arc,
side.
and
However, they're all going to be so spread out that you
pretty
have
sure
to
Otto
make
were
shots
still
of
on point.
Ideally, you want to
So
get
they
Mercy
weren't
here
in a
with the
position,
Solar
and
Gravity
Sansum
probably
was
be
trying
the
to follow
sky. Very
Giannis,
likely it's gonna go onto
but
Blase,
was
who's
out of
just
line of
have
sight
the
of Sleepy and
opportunity. You're
Arc.
not gonna. You have to throw out the notion. You're
Or
gonna get
Sleepy and
three
Otto.
So
kills.
basically,
Competition's
they
not
just
gonna work.
didn't play goats.
Basically, they didn't
Looking for
play
the follow-up here. Cut Arc
at all,
off
the
the rest of his
situation
team.
correctly at
So
all.
many low, and that is going to be it.
Wow.
Face him, but
So many
Blase
low.
Just out and out chaos. As soon as he gets into the line like
Corey's
that,
just getting
so
ripped to
hard for
shreds
Justice
by
to
this
hang on.
home, bro.
They're going to get the res up on him as well.
Yeah,
So it will be
the
99%
Rockets, yeah.
here. Boston on the edge of picking up the first map in this series. All they have to do is hold, and that's exactly what they will do in the end. Janus tries to get back on the point. He just cannot do it. And Boston, I guess
So we'll pause here and then we'll skip over to the next map. Personally, I think the thing that Washington had the biggest problems there was adapting to the comps that Boston came out on. The first time they had a problem adapting to the May. The second map point of the map they had trouble adapting to the triple DPS comp.
Yeah, they didn't. They weren't expecting the not 3-3.
They weren't expecting the not three fights, and they weren't prepared to play into that. Because, like, they still won fights, but
Oh yeah, they
couldn't like stay in those fights. I guess, I don't know.
They could win fights, but what they would immediately do afterward is make a huge mistake, and that let Boston capitalize
They'd
on it.
make unforced errors and let Boston, yeah.
road ahead of
It's
them.
hard to
we are
predict
I mean, we are getting to the point in the season right now where we
Now to Temple of Anubis. Oh, prepare for 16 cap points per team.
Because there is a big gap now between the top half of the league and the bottom half of the league. It's a lot of 4-0s right now. And so I'm thinking this time off that these teams are going to have, you know, it's just going to let them recharge those batteries, and we'll see some closer matches going into Stage 3 once they've started to figure things out.
I'm also rather certain that during this big break we have between the first and second half of the season, you're going to see
Irk
some
crying over New York
some
Excelsior?
players you have
Question
better
mark?
because once you get into Stage 2 and there's not much of a break after Stage 1, you don't necessarily know what is wrong. At this
Color
point,
Hex
you're
coming
wrong
out
with
with
your
Widow.
Now it's time
They're
for
doing the
to
DPS
go out
comp
and
again.
make those moves to make your team competitive.
Well, let's see how
Give your team
Justice reacts to this
Reinhardt
again.
3-3.
We've got Boston trying to work on their DPS strategies here. We've got a Pharmacy, Farah and the Mercy in the sky. We've got a Widowmaker just sitting in the back here. Now it's all about getting disruption on the point to push people into these sight lines for Color Hex's Widow.
Whoop, looking for a shot, not quite. But yeah, this was a common strategy now actually that we've seen a bit now, at least this Pharah Widow combo, because the Widow the Widow cuts him up, forces him into corners, and then who gets to just chuck rockets into bodies?
Yikes.
Blase.
Otto just being put into a corner by
Blase doing good work. Just
Blase.
Washington not letting him get comfortable.
Yeah,
In the meantime,
but
we've really gotta take a
Boston's
rock
having trouble
on
putting any
Boston.
kind of point pressure on because they're cycling so
Yeah, I mean-
well.
If they put any kind of point pressure on, they're gonna immediately collapse. And that's the issue.
Well, like even Fusion's, that's his job as the wrecking ball is to force the boss, like force Washington onto the point. So
I feel like the easiest way they should do this is just have ball spin in a circle on point.
This is unreal.
Oh,
I know it sounds dumb.
Oh, Blase got stunned out of Barrage!
This is bonkers. Finally, we get a deep.
That's nuts.
We got Kill on Fusion, Color Hex got Arc, Samsung got D-Mech. Samsung D-Mech killed RCK.
Nice, the baby diva carry, dude. Fusions gets rezzed. Samsung's dead
Sleepy
here.
kills Aim God.
Sleepy kills Aim God.
Nice headshot.
Oh,
Samsung's dead.
Right back into the closet.
Dinked the brig.
You gotta hit those shots right now. If you're color hex, you can't be passing up. You can't be taking multiple shots to drop Sam in a mini diva form. You need to just be picking those off clean and really forcing exactly.
Hey man, Baby Diva's hard to hit.
RCK, big EMP.
Oh, Otto's down.
And just a manual way.
I mean, it's also
Corey
like
got
Back and
Kelix!
forth now, though. We're losing the
He's-
front and front line for Boston. And that
Kelix went down.
Was that another canceled
I think they really
barrage? It was. Arc killed Blase right as he barrage.
Second point.
Oh my
And then
god.
EMP come out
Oh,
earlier.
and there goes Aim God.
Wow.
Nuts,
Nuts, nuts.
Washington
This
held,
fucking nuts.
and now Boston only has a minute 30 to finish because that fight
I mean, I would
took
like to
2
say
minutes and 30
on the
seconds.
As long as Otto can be
the
up,
color
we're gonna
hex
get
point
score.
that the casters were making, that
Yeah, he needs to be hitting these shots.
Mini Diva was bubbled when he was trying to shoot it, so
Blase is not near a barrage, so you don't need a nano him to keep him alive. And now they've got imprecise, so they know where everybody is. They can see through walls with the help of that Widowmaker ultimate.
Samsung got D-Mech'd again.
Looking for the jam. There it is. Oh, he gets sucked into the
Oh, they got grabbed!
That's unfortunate for Fusions. But it is going Boston.
the Fusions gets out
Color
by
Hex got
thanks of
Corey.
RCK.
Samsung's down again.
Keep their team up at this point.
Yep.
Now it's Boston Uprising. They should have a huge advantage here to just close out this first point. Somehow it's taken them ages, but there we go. One kill, looking for the second. Yep, Janice goes down, and certainly this must be it now.
Well, DBS compositions tend to be a little bit slower, ironically enough, than just running tanks and supports, because you can't just...
They only
take a 65
finished like
and start
30
running.
seconds
Well, it
before
takes a while to
overtime
do this
started.
damage against a team
Yeah.
that has all this sustain with their
That's
support heroes and the
bad.
big health pools of the tanks.
Like, yeah, the DBS comps are supposed to take longer,
It
or
takes
are
a while.
going to
I
take
mean, it
longer
just
than
takes a bit,
Goats
so
to
they
cap,
finally
but
crack it
still.
open. 4 minutes in their time bank.
Yeah,
Only
that's
Nano, as Boston
that's
is
something
going
you
to
need
get
to
some
work
changes
on.
here, But Nano's one of the great
Finish those.
If you're gonna run the triple DPS, you have to get those fights started quicker, because the first fight took 2.5 minutes to finish from start to end.
Yep.
Well, we're
So
on
they
to
only
the
got 2
second point
pushes.
Here. Second point possible on this map. Boston Uprising looking to get 2 points at the end of this half, and we'll see it's already the coalescence from Sleepy. That does mixed damage and healing and cuts through everything. So powerful ultimate. And
Boston
it is
had to
going
back
force
off.
Boston Uprising to think twice about pushing onto the point. They have to
Heal up.
back off around the corner and regroup.
Yeah. You see him aiming at his own teammates and the other team. It'll damage
Giannis
the
is
other
coming
team,
up on
zero
Shatter,
guys up,
Samsung's coming up
goes
on
through,
Bomb.
pierces everything. Goes through shields, goes through Matrix. No
Fusions
stopping
has
the
Shatter.
Coalescence ultimate when it comes out. Boston has designs on
And we'll
keeping
have
this
Shatter.
going. They're gonna have Rally and they're gonna have Shatter here momentarily.
Indeed.
Ooh, Fusion's got focused!
Hanging on by a thread, gonna get topped, and that's gonna
Oh,
help him.
and there goes Aim God.
Scorched to death. The bomb was just overkill there on Aim God. That was brutal.
Time to go. Time to go.
Get out, reset fast.
Yeah, Fusion dies there because he can't retreat as fast as the rest of his team.
Corey was
Also,
just
he's not
teabagging
as
Blase.
Color Hex. You don't want to die as Zarya and give up all the energy that you committed. That center.
I don't know
middle
what
of
this
your
teabag
screen
is. You mean tactical crouching?
The
Oh, you're
Zarya
right. I'm
average
sorry.
energy. So you want to keep your Zarya alive at all costs, even if that's giving up your main tank. Coming in here, Boston has
So-
a Graviton Surge and an Earth Shatter at the ready. They also are going to have self-destruct as well.
So far, it
Nothing
seems like
really to
Washington's
fight
just done a
against
better
this
job at
Washington.
positioning.
Unless you want to counter grab.
That's exactly what's happening right now. They've done really good at positioning.
That's how they stole for so long on first point. Their positioning, just not letting Boston cap.
That was a really good
Oh,
fire strike.
Sleepy just got aim god.
Sleepy nailed the aim god. They should go in right now
They should. They're not going to, but
as
they
a
should.
6-man and just clean up.
Positioning here, but as an offense on assault maps, you have to win so cleanly, so perfectly, because the respawn point for the
got
defense
out.
right behind them. They're coming back into the mix so much.
They should have
quicker.
tried to
They
get
have
stagger
out,
kills, but
even though they lost one, just to regain. You don't
I
want
guess
to
they
go
also would have been
ultimates
going into a
get
lot more
them back.
ults than
Blue screen that
they
we're
have
highlighting.
themselves.
A lot of ultimates up.
True.
On the other side of things, there
Like
is
they would
going
have
to
gone
be
into Color
some
Hex's
defend
grab.
this. Clash
Okay,
of
now they're still fighting this really bad
Sleepy,
area.
this is getting tough
There's
as
the
well.
grab
There's so
that I
much
was just
damage
talking
going
about.
into this.
Sound barrier didn't
Grabs all
actually.
over the place.
Oh my god!
Perfect.
Oh,
Justice.
that's worth.
That was clutch.
Very, very.
Clutch from Corey to get that grab.
Chase out. We're at 90
Aim God didn't
seconds
have
on the
trans
clock for
and
the Boston
Alex's sound barrier
Uprising
didn't mean
offense.
shit.
That needs one good push and maybe, well, I think we'd call it a scuffed push after the fact if it doesn't work. So they're down to it. They are going to have Earth Shatter, going to have Rally. Similar
Yeah, not
to
that
like
Arc sound barrier
Legacy
got much
to
value,
for
but
Rally, that allows your brigade to be
they at least
And-
won the fight.
the opposing Rhine, and then you get a big shatter in.
They got Sam out of that grab with
Hanging on.
some health left.
Yeah.
Powering on through, getting the bump.
Oh, that was a nice block, but stunned out of his shatter.
The top isn't going to find anything. That was an unfortunate angle there for Sensam.
Oh, this started as perfectly as
The shatter's just getting denied.
For Washington,
Yeah.
as Boston pushes in.
2 kills.
Sleepy
Oh, it's
just.
a lonely transcendence.
That's
It's not going to help things either. Just buying a little bit of time.
No,
It's not gonna be
that's
enough.
just,
Once permanent progress picked
This
up on the
is.
point.
This
I don't
is
think
a
he
stall
should
fight
have
at
used
this
True.
point.
He should have kept it, waited for his team to recontest, and then go in.
And for Washington Justice now, because they
Engage with the trans instead of just using it to stall.
And hope that
Yeah.
Boston are the team that make a mistake, that they overextend. But it's not looking like Boston are going to
At
be
this
making
point,
any
this
mistakes
is
here.
just a
It's
stall
matter of
fight.
time.
Giannis got
Arsenal
RCK, so
Bomb
that's.
over the top takes out two.
Nope, doesn't matter.
I
I was about to say, but Giannis' entire team also
Just died
got
and-
killed.
So,
Beautiful work from Boston. In the
let's see. So, I'm gonna skip and then pause again.
back from the break fence, Boston.
Okay, so. I think up until the very end, positioning from Washington looked a lot better than Boston's. We talked about that during the.
Yeah,
map.
for sure. I mean, they were just, that entire first fight that Boston was trying to have took 2.5 minutes.
The first fight,
And
took 2.5
they ended up
minutes.
losing.
Right, and not only that, but they kept trying to draw people out on a point, but Washington wasn't having it. Like they were like, nope, we
Yeah.
know how we can just cycle all of us, so we don't have to. Then some clutch plays from Sleepy and Arc to keep everything.
Yeah, and I mean, props to Otto and Arc for Blase was the only person getting damage off. Got 2 barrages, both denied.
Both denied, first by Otto getting a shield bash on him, which is insane, because I don't know why Blase thought that was a good idea to just barrage at that close of range, but, you know, things happen. Yeah, so
Exactly.
Blase made a big mistake by letting himself be in a position where Otto could have stunned him. Yeah, so positioning looked really good. Anything else you saw that really stood out?
Not really, to be honest. It's just, it's goats. There's just mass chaos. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. Oh, color hacks. Color hacks on that Widow just did not.
Oh, yeah, no.
Fine.
Color Hacks had terrible sightlines.
Yeah. Which, I mean, granted, is kind of because of how Washington was positioning.
Yes,
Again,
exactly.
They were doing really well, but like there were also some shots he just should have hit or should have tried to find, but just couldn't.
They're like he probably could have killed the baby diva. There's a point in time where he should have killed Otto on the Brigida. And yeah, there's just some picks that he should have got that he didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the thing. Boston dominated the last map with Washington, but in this map, the opposite's happening. Is Washington's playing on a much better level. Like the consistency levels for these teams are just all over the place.
Boston were able to pick up 2 points by clipping. Never mind. So it does actually mess with your head.
We're gonna see
3v3
versus 3-3 with Inga on Ana.
Yeah.
And then Washington's just gonna play the Zenyatta.
Like, no, just.
Stage playoffs are going to be great. We have all the top teams in it. Unfortunately for these teams, they have to look past it just a little bit here and look towards the end goal of the season. Stage playoffs are all fine and good, but you want to be in that top 12 at the end of the season to get to your actual season finals here. Yeah. Watching a long way to go. Boston, I think, should definitely be in the conversation as a team that should make an appearance at the season finals and at least in the play-in, right?
Yes.
Top 12.
They are a team that are making quite a bit of
progress. Fusion's on that Winston, I didn't notice
Thursday,
that.
6 p.m. PST.
Yep. Fusion on the Winston, which I do like.
Yeah, Winston is really good if you don't want to run into the multi-DPS problem with the Reinhardt. Sounds I'm just going up and irritating.
From Washington, running just a very basic 3-3.
It also makes it a lot easier for you as a Winston player to rotate on and off point to contest.
Which makes a lot of sense because you're able to get primal rage so quickly.
So low. 100 health.
Around a little bit. Get yourself 1,000.
Boston got
first primal mode. That's it for that fight as Kelix escorts 2 people back to spawn reluctantly. Washington, a little under 3 minutes on the clock. On this
Sansum got me mad.
Plenty of time, although Sansum's not going to be too happy about that. There we go. Eventually RCK
killed him.
Sends him back
See, but
so he can get
the difference here is Washington's fight took a minute 30, a little less than that, because of the stagger kills. But they're going to get an opportunity for 2 more fights where Boston only really had the 2 fights, as opposed to Washington's going to get 3 here if they don't finish this one.
Soon to be 6, and then it's going to be the party on the point. Because Boston, they're trying to do the same. The order of operations is you always rally in, that gives everybody armor, gives Brigade a little bit of speed boost. That's the rally comes off first. Now you want to try to gain ground with this rally before you start using other ultimates. Fusion's just rocking it up to a primal. Yep, perfect, gonna knock him out of position. Good support there, however, for Corey. He's gonna survive it, but he's not really a part of the fight until Fusions allows him to. Fusion's the bouncer right now, holding him off at the door.
Nice sound barrier.
Going down is enormous. That is the majority of the healing for the Boston Uprising.
And God's down. Corey down. That's bad.
Color Hex getting more picks than he did on a Widowmaker.
That was a huge pin.
I mean, that was really hard, though. That's not really hard to do, though.
Boston Uprising will hold.
Zarya, it's so much easier to get kills on her than on Widow in this meta.
And we're at 1:20 on the clock.
It's okay, Color Hex. Gonna get those shots through there one day.
Weapon, of course, hits multiple targets at once. It's able to do cleave damage. And that's how
Washington's got another good fight and then a stagger fight.
Bubble hits them all through the door. You can Primal for the next fight. And Primal, you don't necessarily need to kill people. It's all about disruption. It's all about disconnecting people from the fight. If you're disconnected from your team, you might as well be dead.
Fusion's coming in again.
Once again, he's got
Primaling. This time he's going after Arc.
Very violent, very violent.
And Grimgod gets
he will fall, and that is going to be yet another solid hold here for the Boston Uprising, and it's looking pretty grim here for Washington.
Yeah, they had to back out. They all got anti-healed. The biotic grenade heals your team, make sure the other team can't get healed, so they all had to leave. Now, in what is very likely their last offensive push, if they don't capture it, you can open it with Rally, have Transcendence. Giannis, we haven't even said his name, but he has to step up big here. We're going to need a big shatter going on. He almost has Zur shatter out.
Yeah, Janus is having a bit of a trouble. Oh, aim god. Gotta be careful. Trying to play the possession. Yep, there we go. Fusions once again. He's just getting boosted.
Nice.
Just additional damage. He's just cranking out primals at this point. So much pressure here on Washington Justice, but this is it. We're running out of the clock.
Uh-oh.
3 seconds left here, and they need to get on the point.
Yeah.
Look at that ult meter just charging up.
Overtime is in, but now you got to work your way back. They're getting booked off the point.
They're
Body
getting
block.
prime with
That
it.
is perfect. Unbelievable.
Oh
Washington
my
forget the clock
goodness.
exists.
That's
What
just
happened
well
there?
played.
They're trying to act
Yeah.
like they've got time to wrap all the way around or look for a different fight.
Even had they come in there, you got to know Primal's going to be online. You know that Winston's been doing a ton of
Okay.
damage to you. He just knock him up this.
Let's see. So, Washington on the attack looked as clueless as Boston looked on their attack.
The difference is that they got a lot more fights.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's what you want as the offense. You probably want as many fights as you can get if you're not going to win every previous fight. You want to have as many chances as you can get, but in the end, it just seemed like Boston just played their defense better than Washington did, and that's not even saying that Washington played their defense bad, because they played really well.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're gonna skip to third map. Looks like it's going to be
Got to start inspiring hope, and at a certain
Find that confidence.
A map.
Blizzard World.
That is the key to building.
That's what I was trying to find when I was
Because what we're seeing right now is a Justice that are not
searching through.
that has taken. I'm better and better and can start challenging these
Okay.
top teams because they're so well coached, because they have set plays, and because RCK brings the versatility.
So,
Boston's
what we were
gonna be
saying
rolling
there on
out
your screen, yes,
on
it is a beautiful map.
goats.
Thank you to our observers, our directors there for going ahead and highlighting it, showing it to you guys. But there's also a purpose to that. This is a hybrid map. So you've seen control now, you've seen where they fight over a control point, and it's the team King of the Hill gets
So
the ball
Boston's
for the
running the
longest.
Zenyatta,
You've seen Assault
and
where they just
Washington's
go after
running the
points.
Ana.
Here we're going to get a bit of a mix. You get that first point that the teams are going to fight over, you capture
I have
that
mixed
first
feelings
point,
about the
then there's
Ana.
a payload
Like,
that will
it's
wind
better
its
if you
way
expect
through
them to
along
roll
the
out
track.
on DPS, which I
The
guess
goal
Washington at this
then
point
to see
kind
how
of is,
who can
but
push the payload the furthest. So a bit of a hybrid
the
map. It's a
Ana's
mix of two
so
styles.
much harder
And right
to
now it's going to be
use.
Boston starting off
Mm-hmm.
on the offense.
Yes,
And that's,
that threw you off a little
I
bit.
like
That's
playing
a great
Ana.
defensive
It's just
position.
she's a
Yes.
lot harder to
Secret
play in
Hold
this
on. Yeah, what's going on?
highly
They took the long way
mobile,
around, wrapping around.
highly aggressive
Find that confidence in
play
your right
style.
Hex. That's
Okay.
that man advantage. What are they doing? Let's just go for it.
Yeah, they go. Those are the things I do with that plays, and because RCK brings the versatility.
So, what we were saying there on your
I know.
screen, yes, it is a beautiful control. That first
Struggling
point,
with the
Miles.
video
And right now it's
player.
going to be Boston starting off.
Yeah.
The point here, and now they're going to
I'm
put
like-
engage onto the point. They've taken away high ground
All
as
right.
well. The Divas battle it out over the top. First kill.
Corey
Listen to
down,
Corey.
that-
Teams don't usually win fights without your Zarya in the mix.
Which is huge.
That's as
Yeah.
bad as it gets. Because losing your damage. The Zarya is just so important for the support. There you go. Aim God saying
Big
bye.
misplay from Corey.
Goodbye.
Oh my god, the corpse launch on that
Diva.
diva.
Boston roster.
Bye, Diva.
Over Neko is now on the Toronto Defiant. Both having good careers. AimGod has always had a little bit better numbers though. So you took out Neko, who looked really good, but if you broke down the numbers,
Yeah, that was just a very good engage by Boston. They took the high ground. They easily just melted Corey. And that was basically it. The fight was over before it even began.
Caught out of position. Maybe a little greedy there. So that's going to force Boston.
Now, I would say that'd be a huge pick, except for Boston's right next to their spawn, so it's not actually a good pick.
I think teams have started
I mean,
learn
it's still
that
good. It gets them
choke
to
point is
back
valuable,
off.
and now they're playing it a little bit more like Kings Row, one of
Allows
our other maps.
Yes.
Washington
where you don't
to
give up this choke
like,
right here. You want to fight up front if you
recover
can.
a little bit.
Exactly, because if you lose this fight on the defense, you can go back.
Fusion's got
Oh.
big shatter.
Good shatter.
Big shatter.
And blow
That's
up.
huge.
There we go. 3 kills for the Boston and make that 4,
Shatter
and
bomb
that's a lot
combo.
of progress now for Boston. But this is it. It's not the end for Washington. That's why you hold so far up. They'll have a chance to take another fight here, Heck.
Yeah,
before this
payloads-
reaches the second point.
Payloads do move slow, especially when you only put one person on them. The more people near it, the faster it will go to a certain point.
3.
But yes, usually you just keep your diva back here on the payload duty.
You know, you get on the social media,
Yeah.
check the news,
Yeah.
what's going on.
Exactly. Have a snack, put your feet up.
Exactly. Oh, buddy. Well, rallies on
Rallying
both sides.
to
Getting the armor up
engage.
here. both of these teams. Color Hex with the grab, gonna bring in the
Oh,
one.
Giannis
7
down.
minutes, you know, just go ahead and hand them a Diva Bomb real quick, but that still results in Janus going down. And Washington Justice now not getting the second fight that they were hoping for.
Yeah, really smart play there because you know you're probably even on ultimates here, so you just take the onus on you take the initiative, and take down the main tank at the other time. Counter grab.
Yeah, counter grab, but Trans was up for aim.
Expected
Keep
results.
everybody all nice and healthy. Sound barrier thrown in on the other side.
Oh, big shatter from Giannis.
Quick enough on the side
Fusion
of
dies.
He cannot save fusions in time. Boston not giving up on this though.
Sleepy
they delete
down.
Sleepy. Can they keep Color Hex up? It doesn't
Color
look like
Hex
it. And that
down.
might be it. That might be the turning point where it's okay.
Yeah.
They're
throwing the
super
towel.
committed. They had to keep going in, but Blase found himself out in no man's land. He was all alone on the Brigida, and Brigida needs to be in the mix.
I think
She
this
needs to be
kind
up
of shows
front
like why Fusions
Only
is
are able to heal your
like
team if you hit
when he
damage.
goes down, it's
So
such a big
anytime your
deal
flail hits
because
somebody,
if you
inspire your
watch
team, which
that,
essentially just heals your team.
which I actually do want to go back and see if I can watch this again. As soon as Fusions dies, Boston splits themselves up really badly.
Gonna be able to keep
So-
everybody all nice and healthy. Sound barrier thrown in on the other side. And now we're
Fusions dies,
going tip for
so
tat.
we have the sound barrier go up. Now, this is a good position. So they're all kind of in the same place. They're all, you know, they're positioned okay here.
Back and forth, but it wasn't.
And then as the fight kind of goes on,
sound barrier thrown in on the other side, and now we're just going tit for tat back and forth, but it wasn't quick
Like,
enough on the side of Kelix. He cannot.
Blase tries to rush down into the bag with RCK, and they manage to get Sleepy, but then they're scattered everywhere. Angod ends up at a corner by himself. Kelix isn't able to get to him to help him. Blase and Blase and RCK get caught out in the back of the fight.
Needs to be in the mix. She needs to be up front there. So you only are able to heal your team if you hit damage.
Like,
so anytime your flail hits somebody,
yeah, it's a lot harder to clutch a fight without your Reinhardt anyway, but like you don't make it easier when you split yourself off like that. They ended up breaking down into 2v2 squads, and Washington took advantage of that.
That is pretty much the core of this strategy. And then you can just get all on top of each other, giving each other big
Giannis
hugs,
just
you know, saying, "How's it
kills
going?"
Blase with a pin.
He doesn't have much to say, Hex. He's been sent back to spawn by Giannis.
Hit the rally, try to get his team all the armor, but you can see the health bars are dropping really low, and without Blase, they're going to back up and wait for that respawn.
I think Kelix just went to touch the cart, not try for a back cap, but just to prevent it from moving further backwards
Rather stout on this
towards the
second
end of
point.
that fight.
Strategy has been executed well.
They are actually showing some fight.
Kelix jumping over top, trying to boot people off the high ground.
Good
Didn't
use of the
work.
ult, but here we go. This is the golden opportunity now for Boston. Big grab goes in, but
Auto down,
monsters
Sleepy
on their
gets
side as well,
Ingod.
and that is
Corey
Washington
gets
fighting
Blase.
back. Despite Color Hex hitting a pretty solid grab, there was no follow-up on the side
And now
of Boston.
Corey's dead. That's
I just
unfortunate.
didn't have it. They keep trying to fight over this high ground, and it's not a place where you always see teams fight. So both teams trying to kind of figure it out here. The late kill onto Corey, actually a big deal though. Gonna reset his energy. Zarya
Color
is the
Hex
difference
just
between a
moving the
high-powered
cart.
laser and a wet noodle, depending on how much energy you have going up. So gonna have to put those barriers on himself and his team to get that energy high enough that he's effective in the next fight. Boston's taking the low road.
And Boston's choosing to get back on that payload. The cart, they need to keep pushing it forward. They're nearly at the second point with a minute
There
and a
goes
half on
the
the clock.
bomb.
Bomb goes over the top. Quick reactions there from Fusions.
Someone got
gets teabagged
RCK.
in the meantime. That might as well be a kill here. This is favoring the Washington Justice on the defense. They
Oh,
are the ones who are looking
Fusions goes
so
down,
good
and
here on
big
the
shatter
second point.
from
This is
Giannis.
terrible for Boston. They committed everything that they had. Both support ultimates from your Zenyatta and your Lucio came in. It was not enough to keep the team alive. Now, as we get down to a minute, that's usually the time we consider one last push here. If they get to the
Is it
second
just
point,
weird? Does
they'll
it look
have
like
time, they'll
Washington's
move their
starting to
spawn
ramp
point.
up the pressure on
Going into it,
Fusions?
They're going to have rally from
He's
Blase.
died
Gonna give everyone
first
armor.
twice in these last couple fights
Half on
here.
the clock. Bomb goes over the top. Quick reactions there from Fusions. But RCK gets T-Max in the meantime. That might as well be a kill here. And this is favoring the Washington Justice on the defense. They are the ones who are looking so good here on the second point.
This is terrible for Boston. They committed everything.
Alright, well, I was talking and I forgot to unmute myself because my dog's pog.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything you've been saying for the last probably about 5-10 minutes or so.
Oh, well, then that is not me, and there is an issue with my mic, maybe. Huh.
Well, maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm exaggerating the time.
I was like,
but...
I've been muted for like a minute, not even.
Okay,
So
you probably just haven't. You probably just weren't saying much then.
yeah, no. But basically, what I was saying was, they've definitely ramped up the pressure on Fusions. Every time he's died first, just Boston just keeps falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
It was not enough to keep the team alive.
So I think Washington's learning, learning where the critical link is.
If they get to the checkpoint, they'll have more time and they'll move their spawn forward. But going into it, they're going to have rally from Blase. Going to give everyone armor. That should buy them enough time to get another Graviton and self-destruct combination up.
Exactly, and they're fairly even both of these teams.
But I don't think the armor from Blase is gonna do anything.
Auto just gets AimGod. Big grab.
Boston died quick though, Hex.
AimGod didn't have Transcendence coast in that beat, so there was nothing they could do about that. Giannis has Shatter, and Samsung's gonna have Bomb.
Yeah.
RCK dies late.
I'm gonna say that this map's pretty much over now.
Should still be enough time.
Thing is, they need to touch the payload. They need to get on the cart. Boston Uprising to keep this alive. And it looks like they will be able to make their way there. There's nothing really to stop them. We could have Giannis coming through with the Shatter on the top. Exactly. He could just be bringing the Hammer Pain in.
Let's see how this goes. RCK tried to knock them off again. Didn't work. Again.
Got the game-winning combination here.
It's like
There's
Diva
the
Boop doesn't boost you.
Stunned out of the Shatter combo.
Oh.
That's not going to work. AimGod with the trans.
That was like
Samsung's Bomb.
Never for the
Still doesn't get anything.
Sleepy doing a great job of keeping his team alive.
Oh, good hammer from Fusions. Otto's the only one that dies though, but Color Hex gets traded. Oh, and there Corey with a grab again.
Corey with a huge grab. That's gonna be it.
Yeah. No more support ults for Boston. There wasn't much they could do about that.
Coordinated, but they didn't have the patience on the ultimates there. Graviton came out after self.
That didn't help that Color Hex went down.
Showing some signs.
No, it did not.
Now they just have to do it on the offense and see if they can.
Like trading a Brigida for Zarya any day, you'll take that trade. At these pro levels.
Now has to take control of this point to unlock.
Okay, things you like, things you didn't like. What did you see?
Things I like. Washington focusing Fusions. Things I don't like. Boston thinking that if you split up as a GOATS team, you will win a fight when your main tank is down.
Oh, God. Yeah. I can't disagree with you there. Yeah, Washington just played around Fusions better. They started learning. It seems like they've made a game plan. That the plan is just go after Fusions.
Another thing that I didn't like. There was like barely any effort, or at least for what I've seen, barely any effort to use high ground advantage. If you're Boston, I would have loved you to just run up, go on to high ground, just rain some, Zarya alt fires, Zenyatta, right clicks, just throw those into their team, and then once you want to engage.
Yep, I'll agree with that.
The whole point of attacking is Washington can control where you engage, you control when you engage.
Yeah. Well, technically the defender could choose to attack you, but they usually don't. Washington chooses where, and yeah. Anyway. Okay, and so now we're back. I had to go eat some food, and now we're gonna start up on the second half of the map.
Excuse me, Washington now take control of this point here, unlock the payload, and push it further, and they will win a map. If they do not do so, Boston will win the series by virtue of being up 3-0 as we enter in map 4.
Hex, we saw this stuff from Boston before. The hard hold.
Yes.
It is entirely possible here. Washington, they look good on defense. Offense,
Washington's gonna roll out
you gotta get
on
coordinated, you gotta work
Goats.
together.
Just
And you have to crack that defense. Boston looking very
Arc
good.
to save them a few
So let's see
seconds
what
walking
are they capable of
upstairs.
here, Washington. It's not looking like anything crazy, Hex.
No, very standard on both sides. Reinhardt mirrors in the 3-3 composition. 3 tanks, 3 supports.
So let's see. Last time
Time to smash
we
into each
figured
other.
out that it seemed like Washington was adapting and trying to force the issue on
They're sticking to
fusions.
it. Well,
Let's see if they
Washington does it right now.
keep to that this time.
Let's see, can they find any targets to pick off? It's a bit spread out right now on the side of Boston, but they are going to be able to just tighten up again here on the point.
Fusions goes in onto Corey and Otto, but he's the
Oh.
one that's gonna pay for it.
Yep,
It
he's
seems
gonna
like.
go down.
Yep, and there goes Color Hex too.
Yeah, oh, that's it. That's the fight.
That's
And
the
RCK's out of mech.
Always bad to
And he's gonna get staggered.
You can maybe scrap by if you
Oh
lose one
my
of your tanks,
God.
one of your supports, but losing both of your main
Yeah, Otto's gonna
That's a
already have
real
rally.
bad.
Reinhardt.
Blaze's only at
There's no way you're
80%
gonna
of
be
his
able to
rally.
Diva's
Mhm.
call it off tank. Yes,
Let's
she's
see.
tanky, but a little more
The
utility.
support ults otherwise are looking pretty
She is gone.
consistent
On
across
this
both
one, on the-
teams.
on the map.
Yeah,
Sansam's 20% of RCK on the Diva Bomb, and Color Hex is actually ahead of Corey on the grab charge.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's
Although with the fact that Corey actually has his charge from first fight, we can assume that Corey's probably going to catch up pretty
And
quickly.
now they're going to push into Boston. Boston nearing ultimates of their own, though. It's all about execution.
Oh, looking
There's the
for it.
bomb
There's the
thrown
trace,
out from
though.
Sansam.
Hex has the grab offline. That's why we're
Forces
watching
it.
him. Is he gonna
Forces
throw it?
all
Is he
3
going to
support outs out
decide?
of Boston.
Now's the time. Could go for the counter.
Damn.
That's a big misplay.
And they may not even need it. They are dropping so low.
Even
On the side
even
of
though
Justice.
Washington
Boston
loses
Uprising
this
will
fight,
hold.
I would be happy with the result.
Yeah, they
of that.
definitely.
I mean, apparently
They lost the fight, won the war.
Yeah.
Should ask him for some tips.
I should.
Yeah, because
I'm kinda
let's see,
surprised, though, you haven't
Color X is gonna have
Yeah,
Grav,
eliminated.
but Arc's gonna have
Powers.
beat. Sansam's probably gonna get a chance at getting bombed in the next fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to go that
Sleepy's
Highlander
gonna
way or
beat
it's
Aim
gonna
God
be-
to
it's gonna be
Transcendence,
an
I think.
Archon and just merge into one powerful being. However, big
There's
old
the
grab in
Grav
corner,
out from
blocks
Color
the wall.
Hex. Only
Mhm.
got
Where
Otto
is
and
it gonna go, though? As Otto
Giannis.
is out. We get a DMAC on
Sansam
Sansam, so
got
a one
DMAC,
fight here for Boston. And you can already see him trying to back off. Arc
Yeah.
turns tail. He just abandons his teammates. What a monster.
Now you have the very aggressive defense.
Arc
holding
didn't.
forward.
Arc used beat that fight. That was
Taking
bad.
away the high ground, gonna lob in the alternate fire of Zarya.
Let's see.
Like
Sleepy's gonna
splash
have.
a grenade.
Both Transcendences are
Primary
up.
fire, just
Sansam's
a
gonna have
beam-
bomb.
beam of damage
Uh,
here. And now Washington's
Yeah,
forced to
so
rotate
I guess with
around
that
to the
one, like,
side.
Boston flipped the switch on the support ults, but like,
Boston's been really good at catching
still wasn't
rotation.
really good
Boston
that
are
they
doing a
used all
fantastic
3
job
out
right now
and
of wasting
later.
a lot of time for Washington Justice. They are so far forward.
Shadow
Just
Confusion's got
throwing that out
jack
there.
shit.
Not the best. But still, it is really just making it so that Washington, they have to fight so far ahead of the arc.
Sleepy used Transcendence, so
It wasn't the
Ingod
best, but it seemed like it forced out a
has
Transcendence
his.
there too, so they get that ultimate out.
Fusion's
very low.
going
They're gonna
super
grab
low.
this.
Oh, there he goes.
Washington
Yeah.
cleans it up.
Yeah.
Is gone. Dunzo, and I'm wondering what
Good
happened
grab out
because
from
the
Corey.
Game God had the trance going.
Got
Here,
that
he was
one
on the
locked
other
up.
side of the corner.
RCK just
out of
throws
line of sight
himself
for
in the
Fusion.
ocean.
Just a tough break, which is probably why Fusion thinks he can swing his hammer in that scenario instead of keeping the shield up. Yeah. Like, oh, that was bold of you, Fusion.
Well, opposing Zaryas are actually really good to it, using their own allied shield and a personal barrier.
Color
to
Hex is gonna get
block line of sight
Grav.
for Transcendence healing. We've seen it a couple times.
RCK has
Very
bomb.
high-level
And guess
play.
what?
Now, Washington, 2.5 minutes on the
They're
clock,
using high ground.
trying to push to the big
Yeah.
golden box on the ground.
They took high ground.
That's what we expect to see, Hex. This is the best Overwatch on the
Just
planet.
popping
Overwatch
rally.
League, the elite of the elite, going toe-to-toe
Oh,
with the Boston
Giannis
Uprising.
got
Looking to hold.
shat.
They lose Blase
Big
early.
Shatter got
Down
Blase.
this fight.
Corey goes
Traded
down though,
back high-value
and
targets.
that's
Actually the best targets right there.
better than
Unbelievable. Boston
what
Uprising are
Washington
going to hold
had.
yet again.
Really nice play there too.
Washington still has a
lot of
couple
people overlook
minutes.
It, but when you lose your Brigida player, that's a lot of damage that usually goes into the Graviton targets there. They're all standing there.
RCK
you're through them, everyone's
just
healed
used
up,
bomb. Color
and you
Hex
end up
just used
putting
Grav.
on a
Corey's gonna
significant amount
get
of damage.
Grav.
Boston lost
Sansam
pretty
has
early,
bomb.
able to still pull
Sleepy
that
gets
back.
Transcendence.
Invested a
Beat
lot
for
of
Arc.
resources, though. Just a shatter from Fusion.
Pretty big ult advantage for Washington going in this next fight.
Certainly.
Washington's gonna have some really
And those are big ults. It's not like a
They'll have
a
everything
Brigida rally to engage or
No.
a shatter. Those are like all your playmaking ults there.
Yeah.
Arc over the top. Once again, the fight really happening on this high ground, but they decided it's a bit too hot to handle. Washington and go for the low ground. This is the name of the game right here. Get on that
Washington forcing the issue of the cart.
And we're trying to get it into that golden rectangle, the golden rectangle of victory on the ground. So Washington
nope, they were rotating through middle to go to high ground again.
Boston's playing very spread out.
Fusion's just kind of trapped on the low ground.
He gets it right now. They're trying to make him make a decision on which single target. Now a little more clumped up. Of course, Corey has to be careful.
Otto's going to get rallied. Blase is going to get rallied. Color Hex is close to grab. Kellex still not really far away from beat. There,
Yes, nicely done.
no, Bomb doesn't get any kills. There's the grab from Color Hex.
Soundbayer's in. Washington Justice doing a great job of
There's the
staggering out their
bomb.
ultimate abilities right now. Working wonderfully well. But we've got all the ults used up. Kellex is about to get Soundbarrier.
Kellex is about to have Soundbarrier. Giannis is going to get Shatter.
Shatter is online for Giannis. Should be able to hit it here. Everyone used everything else.
Maybe jump the gun just a little bit there on the side of Kellex. Still 20 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jump the gun.
Thinking perhaps that they could just end it right here, but now they're out of support ultimates on the side of Boston, and they still need to survive this. Lose Sleepy in the back line, though, not gonna help.
Sleepy goes down, but big Shatter.
Yeah, that Shatter is huge.
And yeah, there goes Boston's hopes and dreams at finishing the series right here.
Washington will take this third map of the series, still alive. Let's not write them off just yet. They made some mistakes. Boston made them.
Yeah. So, I think Boston just made a lot of mistakes that map.
Mm-hmm.
Like Washington did some good things, like big play on Giannis with that Shatter. But other than that, it was mostly just Boston making a lot of errors they didn't need to. Triple layering support ults. Kellex using that beat when he didn't need to. What would you say?
Yeah, that seemed just... all that seemed like it was in Boston's hand, and they just kind of threw.
Yeah. Yeah, what more is there to say?
I got
Boston just
no
threw.
better way to say it. Boston threw that map.
Well, Rialto. So,
Oh, my favorite map.
Boston's going to be attacking here.
Wins even though a Graviton got eaten. It didn't matter in the end anyway. So, Boston still trying to win this series. Washington, if they win, will push us to a deciding map number 5.
Oh, no surprises here, just goats.
The payload along the road. The payload along the road, exactly. The cart along the path.
Aim God just putting up a spray for the hell of it. And
We'll say right now, kinda
on this map,
wondering why
I'll be sure to point them out for
they
you.
aren't holding further up for a recontest.
They're on the offense. Washington Justice on the defense. Washington have looked good on the defense so
Just
far.
in case they lose this
Austin,
point.
What do they need to do here, Hex?
I mean, this is the spot a lot of
That's going to be a start.
the first
Oh,
fights have
for
been
sure.
happening.
I'm not saying it's a bad place to spot. It's a great chokehold. It's just that
on the payload. Otto falls first.
if the enemy team's going to stagger through those kills, it's going to be a lot harder for you to recontest.
Yeah, it's actually pretty typical though from the Washington's not the only ones that are hold here. A lot of the teams, even the better teams like Shock and Nixel, will do the first contest there. Oh, big shout out from Giannis already.
Yeah, that was huge.
Sleepy's Transcendence just get pins across the map though.
Beautiful pin there from Fusions trying to pull
Sleepy didn't die.
And that was an interesting
Oh, but
He's really struggling with the shadows today.
I thought they were gonna sneak the cap there. Corey got Grav already too, beating both the tank ults from Washington beating out the ult from Boston Uprising.
That's very good.
Nice hold for them as they push.
That's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
That was
already up to another shatter. He's going to lap Fusions and Shatter charge.
Graviton and self-destruct combination. The big
Oh my goodness.
So dubbed.
so hard to nail it right, though.
It really is.
Just all the shields.
Well, did Fusion shatter that fight? Because I didn't think
He did. He did. He did. He whiffed it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he's not getting lapped, but like Giannis is significantly winning out the fight there on that.
Oh,
Another
for sure.
big shatter from Giannis.
Giannis, however, he is not
No follow-up possible, but
he is hitting
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a bomb, there was a beat.
Color Hex and Color Hex.
Color Hex got melted. I mean, if he didn't, he would have. That would have been great play on Boston's part, but
Yeah, he ended up in the middle of the Washington Justice as they were collapsing onto the rest of the Boston Uprising. Like, Color Hex was the one that wasn't benefiting from speed boost, he just got left behind.
Then you get your Earth Shatter up. Defensively,
And
Washington Justice.
Corey's gonna have a second
no, I'm
grab.
pretty sure right here, Boston should win the fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. Boston has
I
everything
mean,
except
4
grab.
ults to 1.
Excellent here, Hex, but
But
let's see.
with only the Transcendence,
Blase with the rally. There we go. A shatter that finally connects to the target.
A good
Instantly
shatter.
by the grab. We will
A good
trade 1
grab.
for 1. And there's RCK.
oh, and there's the bigger bomb.
That is
Self-destruct, finally.
That's how you draw it up. That is
an aim god.
You draw up, you get everyone grabbed, then you've got the bomb in a good
Aim
position.
god
You
used-
knock down all the
Boston
shooters,
used every ult they had.
They used everything for that.
Very, very fast on those futuristic roller skates. He will do
For
it momentarily.
1 grab.
Checkpoint. They get an additional.
Boston's trying to
time on the
chase
clock. 3 minutes
a
now.
little bit.
Take the second checkpoint. They're going to need every bit of it too. This is a long second point.
It's a long way to go. Gonna be a big U-shaped bend here. Gonna hook a left off on the other side of the bridge. And then
Color
all
Hex
the
is
way
gonna
back
have
around.
grab this next fight. Sleepy's gonna get Transcendence. Otto's gonna have Rally.
Intending to drop
And
down
Giannis
Boston
probably
grabs.
get Shatter.
Very
Sansom
patient
probably gets
play here
bomb.
from Washington because they don't really want to be giving too
So
much.
Washington's coming up on pretty much
Boston
everything,
Uprising. He
and
got
Boston
volley
has.
to the face, I'm sure,
grab.
nearly pops it.
Mhm.
Yeah, they have to give up high ground here as Giannis falls low. They're going to keep their Lucio up top to try to deny the high ground take. The fight's happening through the archway. No one's even fighting over the stairs at the moment.
No, looking forward though. Good positioning. Trans instantly used here by Sleepy. Giannis still going to be taken all the way over to the other side. Not going to get those heals. Otto next to fall. Boston making some serious progress now. This is good work on their part. But it's an early fight again here from Washington.
Vashington traded
Yeah, we've seen that
1 ult
self-destructs
for
come in
getting
on that
3
point
more.
very often
Oh,
lately, and it ends up separating the
And
team even on the
Washington
grab side. You don't need to
just
support someone in
used
that grab when you're trying to hide from the self-destruct. Then nice
2 of their
charge through
ults,
that.
got nothing out of them.
That fight. Shatter available for fusions. Both rides with Shatter available.
Oh, it's looking like Giannis,
Oh,
Blase
big
with
shatter
getting
from
caught that
Giannis.
time. This is not looking
Got
good.
Blase and
Although
Kellex.
He's
And
hitting a lot of these shatters.
Fusions right now, man.
Yeah,
They're struggling.
not all of them are getting people that he needs to, but
Jeb's
like
drinking his own Kool-Aid.
the
We've
fact that
hyped
he's
him up so much, but
consistently
he's lost
outplaying Fusion's
immediately
positioning
there.
to get them in the
I mean,
first place
you
is
kind of want that
a bad
Shatter for
sign.
the next fight.
Yeah, it's a
Tries to
very
go back
bad
on his
sign.
own,
Because
does not, ends up donating
I
his
mean,
pool to the human fund.
really what's happening is
Really the fun
Boston's
to be
lucking
on the
out
team.
with who Giannis ends up shattering and whether they die or not. Because a lot of the time they're not dying. But anytime they get Washington securing a kill on these shatters, they're winning the
And more
fight.
DPS constant happens more often, but not frequently.
Giannis, though,
Giannis tried to pin out of that
all
shatter,
the way
but
out.
got
Good
outplayed.
protection there from Sandstorm, covering him in the
Yeah.
matrix. Soundberry goes
Oh,
down.
the
He is still
beat
going to
saves
fall, though.
him.
There's too
At
much
least for a little bit longer.
Boston somehow managing to capitalize on
Beat for
getting him
beat.
out of position. He got
They
moved out,
lose.
it looked like.
Yeah.
Good job by Boston of giving ground and then retaking
Finishing
it
again with
the
about 40
Soundberry
seconds on the
back in.
clock.
They laid another checkpoint. That is another 9.
And now here's the infamous third point choke.
Color
I feel like
Hex-
Washington
Color Hex is looking a little
should
worse
hold
for
this.
3 possible. This will be the home stretch here for Boston Uprising.
Luckily, he's got 3 healers in the health pack.
What are they
Yeah.
capable of, though?
If this were any other meta, he'd be
Because there are
dead.
so many ults to work with here on the side of Washington Justice. They have the
Oh.
answer to the grab. They still lose.
Bomb from
forward,
Sansom,
though.
D-Max
On the side of
RCK.
Washington. That's not going to help things.
D-Mac, RCK on the other
Corey's
side.
down.
A giant shatter
And
fight.
oh, Giannis gets downed by the shatter.
Washington Justice dropping low on
I-
their side.
that
The
charge
next
was
auto
suicide.
will
That was a
fall, and
horrible
there's real
charge.
progress here for Boston Uprising.
Yeah,
Now,
that was just to
trying
get him on
into the final
cart to
fight.
stall
That
for
statue
time.
is the end zone.
I think he accepted he was going to die and just
Options
was
to
playing for
Washington have. A
time.
defensive grab is going to have the order of the day. The problem is, Washington's had to use their ultimates so defensively. Boston's really picking when and where they fight every single time.
Oh, looking looking for it, though. Where are we going to get it? There it is. The self-destruct over the top. No targets connected. Giannis too good with the shield, but we've lost Otto again. Giannis down, and now it is Boston. They are tightening up their game here, Hex. They are finally starting to find these kills. Otto, he's died first several times.
Now, something that's really good from Aim God is that he's had his trans almost every single fight.
Signs of life early on for
Unlike Sleepy, who has not.
The map went on and on. Giannis started dying a little too often. 6 deaths in that.
Was trying to make. There's your name.
The etymology
Room together because then
So
it is
end of the universe, so you're gonna fusion.
And Boston's one of the only.
So yeah, we're seeing a different game. We're not seeing so much focus on fusions, but we're seeing Giannis just trying to hit these shatters no matter what the situation is, and it's usually working. Like, it's not always, again, it's not always getting kills, but he's always hitting somebody. So Fusions, like, Fusions outplayed Giannis in the last part of the map, but for the most part, Giannis still getting the better of the matchup.
For sure.
They do their diligence when it comes to finding talent that no one else even gives a chance.
Now they have a system and they've been sticking to it, and it has been working. So far, Boston Uprising looking solid. Color Hex may be a Kiwi, but he's been doing the peeling. Now it's on Washington Justice.
What?
Trying to
Excuse me, but what?
well, this is the usual spot you're going to see a first fight go down.
Color Hex may be a Kiwi, but he's always peeling.
90-degree angles, essentially. You got to fight on this corner. This first checkpoint is a
You know, sometimes
you're going to be making drop turns, so all about
casting.
Control and positioning.
Oh, that's a big boot from Kellex.
That is a huge boop.
Oh, but Samsung actually DMX RCK instead.
Yeah, I was like, but instead, nothing happens, Giannis. Oof.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a. I thought. For.
On the other side, now they're starting to get ultimates.
You would think Washington.
When I saw that DMAC, I was like, oh wow, they're gonna turn it around. What?
So a huge
yeah, it did turn the fight around, but look at the difference in ult charge between Samsung and RCK.
Yeah, that's
nearly
very important. You DMAC the diva. Anything she does, including staying alive, isn't going towards that bomb. It's going towards remecking.
There it is.
Sleepy has Transcendence. Samsung has Bomb.
Again, Kellex with another boop.
Transcendence came out early, but now they're going to get grabbed. Should be the cleanup all the way through.
Focus fire is there from the side of the Boston Uprising. Picture perfect play coming through. Corey in a world of hurt.
Corey's not going out.
Does not live. They do collapse and clean up. 2 minutes left. That is, well, I mean, they're so close to spot. I'll give them 3 fights here. And probably 3 fights left offensively.
I agree. 3 fights.
Corey's nearing Graviton Surge. I mean, at this point, I'm going to stop saying it. If you have Rally, you open the fight with Rally. Otto's probably going to rally first.
Hold W.
W.
Yeah, Otto has Rally and Blase does not.
Get in there. If you are on the Washington Justice, you have Graviton online here for Corey as well. So.
Boston has the tools to defend it, though. They have Transcendent.
Wow.
They
solo grab fusions!
Like Aim God with the proper...
Oh!
Still going to hit that charge.
And that's one way to get the team's fight, the ults out of the way.
Yeah, that's one way to win a team fight.
Hard desperation to save fusions from dying there from Boston Uprising.
You can tell
them that fight.
You can tell they know at this point, like, oh, we just win by isolating fusions.
And so it seems like they've really made the wise decision.
Yeah, you waste your trans for one person. You waste your bomb for one person, and that person still dies.
Sometimes you miss your charge target.
They must be really important. Oh, fusions again! Just watching that health bar just melt is hilarious.
And Boston Uprising with a man advantage.
Sleepy's down. Corey's down. I think they only have one more fight if they lose. Now, what is Justice gonna do to win this?
Trying to send us into that definitive map 5. Last push, 30 seconds
Every
left.
all in on fusions.
Nothing really to combo with it. They have Transcendence, which
just
they have to use
all in fusions
they
again.
No, there's a Graviton on the other side.
Sleepy's gonna have Transcendence again.
They got a trans, so that's really good. They have bomb, but this has got to be the biggest bomb of Sam's life.
Rally to kick things off.
Yeah, especially considering there's no grab
Find that first pick.
at this point.
Got plenty of armor, but Washington
Or
the choice.
eat
Gotta
the
get
grab.
here now.
Grab
Over the
got
top.
value.
Going to find
Blase
a
goes
Blase.
down.
That's not how that's supposed to happen.
That's good.
Grab is in, and this is going to be perfect for Washington. Somehow,
Looks like they didn't have to focus fusions, they just
They
had to
fluffed the
kill everyone
defense.
else.
I mean, that's another way to do it.
Self-destruct. They had some ultimates to work with and got no value out of them. Washington keeps themselves alive. We'll add 2.5 minutes to their clock.
2.5 minutes. That's a bit much.
Giannis, Corey, and Otto pushing out.
You just got the first point in overtime.
do
Hex.
nothing.
Getting 2.5. What happened in 90 seconds?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how this game works sometimes.
Interesting.
I don't
It's a
know how
long
this
push,
game
though.
works.
They will only,
Same!
about 2 fights because they have to get around the bend. Boston is going to take this high ground up here.
Like,
I mean, when you're talking about two inconsistent teams like this, I don't think anybody knows how this game works.
It's a long push, though. They will only get, about 2 fights because you have to get around the bend. Boston is going to take this high ground up here.
Razor's
Yeah,
dead.
get out of here, Sansam.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, he actually.
since I got moved off the map!
Yeah, he got booped into the river. What kind of diva are you to get booped into a river?
Now, I don't know much about 2,000-ton mechs, but I'd say they probably don't float too well.
He's down at the bottom.
Yeah,
No, I'd have to say they probably don't float that well.
And they're throwing stuff into those. I mean, jeez, nobody wants to look at the bottom of those.
Man,
Alright, Boston Uprising now. RCK with the self-destruct.
RCK bombs to engage. Nobody goes down. Big shatter! Fusion's down!
That's the biggest shatter he's had.
They're not giving up yet.
Second biggest one. He had a bigger one on
That
Blizzard World.
is keeping the Boston at least armored up, making them a little bit harder to kill. Fusions is almost back into this fight as well, but RCK got cut off from the rest of his team.
Yeah, chooses to die on
No,
the card.
Boston wasn't going to fight that anyways.
Now the question is, does Boston
Contrary to
really
what the
come in
casters were
here
doing,
and
RCK
fight
knew he
5v6?
wasn't going to get out.
I mean, you really only need to win 1 fight, so you might want to just wait for RCK.
Oh,
forever.
and
Grabs is out. No DB.
Washington's just going to try and enforce the issue. Oh, Biggie!
That's not gonna help.
That's huge.
Oh,
Just
Fusions dies again! And a solo shatter on color hex, and that's it. That's all she wrote. That second point.
that's second point.
They choose to fight without full strength.
Washington risking life and limb just to kill Fusions because they know it'll work.
So, minute 52 on the clock now.
And it's worked every time.
Trying to tie it up here with
And
the
it's
Boston
worked.
Uprising.
Oh god, this.
They're looking very good right now, Hex. Boston are
That's
making
kind of my
a lot
issue
of
with
forced
Boston
errors.
right now. It's like
Just getting caught.
the one
That
true
is
shot
not
caller
gonna
you
happen.
have is Fusion.
Boston, they're going to try and take a fight early here. Exactly at
It's
the archway.
And as soon as he goes
chaos.
down, everything
Say hi.
unfolds.
They're going to compare mechs. I like my colors better.
Would I say Washington's a better team? No. Would I say they know how to beat Boston? Yes.
This entire match, he's getting headshots. That's the red arrow. White arrow works just as well. A standard body shot right there. They absolutely clean up here. And we talked about the new additions for Washington, giving them life. You need a good Lucio in this meta. It's never going to look that flashy. But what does look flashy is your flex support play. SwitzPeace has put in some really high damage. He's giving them the business.
Yeah, well, rallies on both. Let's
Oh,
see.
Giannis can hit a huge shatter here.
Combo it with color hex.
That'd be awesome.
Oh,
Actually
yep.
put anybody out of position, though. It's
Nope,
not
doesn't
looking like
actually
it.
No,
hit
no,
anyone.
he got it. It got blocked.
Really making Boston work.
Later,
Yeah, and,
Jensen and some bosses said they should have
RCK
found
ignored it
somebody
because he was
trying to find it,
remacking.
push it forward.
Oh, Fusion's going so low again.
Back up.
Oh man.
Oh, I know. Giannis was low too, but
Focus's fire is so
Oh,
fierce on him.
and there goes Fusions.
Self-destruct takes him out. Giannis hangs on by a
Giannis
the
gets to live.
self-destruct gets him. The one thing I didn't think was gonna get him got him.
Oh, and there's the grab.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. That's Washington clinching it out.
Their strategy definitely seems to be
Yeah.
kill Fusions first, kill the center, and everything will crumble around it. Washington putting
Like
up
the
a
casters
fight of
have-
their lives here.
Casters, we agree. We've been saying it long before you've realized.
Yeah, just. No, okay, actually, commercial breaks on that one.
Boston. They were looking great.
Yeah, so
And then all of a sudden,
let's see.
Now let's see how Boston does on this defense for 3-3. They have an advantage, about 30 seconds.
Get that half
Which I would say would be a team fight for other teams, but the way these two have been playing, I'd say that's more of a get halfway to the point.
It's another to execute it. Because I think a lot of teams are like, well, let's just focus on Bumper when you play Vancouver, or like just kill Sinatra when you play the Shock. I mean, Boston, when you take Fusions out of the mix, the team dies. And they put every resource Washington has into killing Fusions as quickly...
I will say, though, you're wrong because just kill Bumper is Vancouver's way of winning every fight.
I was about to say,
Bumper first... If Bumper dies first every fight,
they win.
the majority of the time, Vancouver wins that fight.
So they're down to 27 seconds. Name of the game, push this
But
card
yeah,
as far as possible.
under half a minute.
Win every fight from here on out because you're not going to
Huge boop.
Aim
God gets stunned in the back by Otto. That's real good.
They
If
both
he got
managed to
that
end
pick,
up
that would've
backing
been
off of each other.
Same going low.
Giannis out of position here. He's getting
Otto goes down.
Otto's dead. And the trans into them.
Body blocks as well. Giannis, you're not backing up. You're not going anywhere. In fact, you guys are
Now,
here on the offense.
here's
That
the
is
real
it.
question.
Washington Justice. Barely
How?
make it around the first bend.
Because we know the end game here.
Essentially, where you see that
We
first
know
We do.
time to work.
that Justice wins this series. How in the heck
Really changed.
do they
Shock.
stall Boston from getting that far on Rialto?
Let's go.
Boston throws. We discussed it earlier. Boston's throwing.
Conforming. They're non-conformists, they're anarchists, but that is... They're also out of the stage playoffs, so, you know, while fun to watch, maybe not the most effective of teams.
You
Boston...
gotta prove yourself, Hex.
Yeah, that's true. To thine own self be true.
Boston. They don't have a whole long way to go. They've got
Standard Rhine 3
5.
threes,
A little bit
as
more,
expected.
20 seconds more, which means they can...
See, because they're already halfway there.
Get back into this.
Now they're more than halfway there. They're almost there right now.
Giannis is just shield peeking the corner.
No, I mean, there it is.
Yep.
Rectangle of victory. Halo
Look at
clearly
that.
in it.
Look at how
Boston
close
uprising
they've
now,
gotten
trying to
that.
find somebody out of position
Yep,
here.
that took 30
But
seconds.
Boston, you know, being good, they're like, hey, we have a half a minute advantage.
But the rest of the team are there.
We can wait it out.
Yeah.
At some point, they're gonna
I
have
The
feel-
more you wait, the more ultimate defense is going to get. I feel like that's the issue here.
Oh, Fusions! It's
Fusions gets killed by Arc while charging. That is huge. That's the way you take out Boston in
and
this
now
fight.
and now look, they're just sitting there.
Yep, and they're backing off. And look at this.
They don't back off all the way.
Bomb,
This map is over. But now they have
Bomb, Transcendence,
Vince, and
Grab.
Rally for
Corey
Boston.
has grab up
Have
before color hack.
Grab, Shatter, Beat, Trans, Bomb for Justice. Let's see how this goes.
Just
A
grab right
huge
on
grab.
top.
Huge. Wasting their trans. Bomb goes out, which I don't feel like you should have done that. You should have waited a bit more. Trans and
Oh, Sons of just drops the
stack-
bomb.
just stack all of your
Oh,
support
Corey
on.
got color hex. And there goes RCK.
Yep, there goes the team. That's it. That's game.
Put everything into it.
Fusions is dead here.
Momentarily, you would think. This
And
one's
Blase.
it. You like map 5s? I like map 5s.
Let's get
I do like map 5s. Thank you very much.
Map 5, and it was on the rectangle.
When we come back,
They were probably less than a meter from winning that.
Let's look at this.
Fusion's gonna fall as well
It was half a meter.
here momentarily.
They were half a meter away
You like map
from
5s?
winning
I like
the
map
game.
5s.
let's get into it.
And they blew it.
Will be what settles this once and for all. We're
Actually, wait, I wanna... Do we see how color hex got isolated?
Trans.
Oh, he got forced down the alleyway and Corey just chases him.
Have they went through the storm? No color.
Mhm.
Drops. And there's nobody on the side of Washington that's
That's what
low right
happened.
now. Boston, overtime map.
So yeah, just color
And now
hex
we're
got
back.
isolated in the alleyway.
Back to
Oh.
control map, which last time Boston crushed Washington up.
Yeah,
let's see what Washington
Does differently.
does differently. Are they gonna just continue focusing down fusions in every single fight?
So
And here's the other thing. What's Boston gonna run? Because, like they're showing right now, they're gonna run that DPS comp on Control.
Yeah. I would dare fusions to actually come out on the Ash.
Just pull a bumper. Just not play tank.
Yeah, just don't play tank, forehead.
Is the name of the game. Looks like Sleepy. He spots it.
Oh,
waiting for him. He's gonna go back and swap it for the
Now, if Sleepy is going back to swap to on, really like
Moira
this,
this
you
time.
Either or,
Well, I
right?
mean, it's
They
hard
Moira
to
this
say.
time.
They decided the Moira was more consistent. Oh, and we're actually seeing the Winston switch from Giannis as well.
And a Winston switch. This I like because
The Moira's more
dive
consistent
that
healing the
Widow,
Ana.
dive that Ana, dive that Mercy.
A ton of healing and the ult charges very quickly.
Oh, buddy. And then you just got Blase up top right now, just raining in rockets, perfectly done, gets up close, looking for it, and it's Boston Uprising getting first control on the point.
Yeah. You see how good they are in the clutch. This would be their 6th.
Now, Boston's got first control of the point.
And
Let's see RCK getting real low. Aim God
Color
also
Hex
low.
goes down to
Color Hex
Corey.
is taken. There we go.
Aim
Now
God
Aim God's
taken out
down.
by
Color
Otto.
should go down next.
I mean, the rest of this composition struggles to get anything done.
Well, that was it.
There goes
Oh,
Blase.
faded barrage.
That's very likely I'm switching off of far ambitious.
They're gonna change up the strat, maybe. But I mean, Kellex has just got the wings on.
They don't.
No, they don't. That was just...
This is where the
And then RCK got
There's-
focused.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Blase has not been in good positions for these
She's invisible.
barrages.
No, they've
He
been
has not even lasted 1 second every time he's pressed Q.
like we expect Fars. You expect Far to die during barrage. And
Yo, I expect Farah to die, but he has gotten 0 value.
yeah, you
3,
expect
4.
some value. Oh, here they come. They wrap.
Here we go.
Boston tried to wrap around the Washington
That-
Justice.
Himself in right now.
I thought they were gonna get him there, but they didn't. Oh, Moira in trouble. Corey in trouble.
There has to be some kind of
Color Hex
follow-up
is
play.
hitting his shots this time.
Damage that the Hex.
The issue
Sounds
is
up
that
demect.
there's no follow-up. Samsung,
Otto's isolated. Otto's down.
That's yep. And Ark's down. That's a win for Boston right now.
Yep. A good rocket onto RCK.
Giannis gets Color Hex though, and he ults onto point.
He's just stalling.
I don't think.
Giannis going for the primal as well.
Giannis going for the primal for stall.
Yep. I mean, 70% to 20. That's real nice.
Corey's gonna have Grav. Probably gonna aim for grabbing fusions or aim God.
And it's either gonna
Kellex
be a
if
Grav
Kellex isn't a bad
bomb,
play.
or it's gonna be a Grav coalescence. And they're gonna also have the beat up.
Actually, they're probably gonna use the coalescence to try and take Blase out of the sky, because that's what they did last time with it.
RCK's in a cool position.
Or at least to
He's gonna come right over
force.
the top.
Nope, they're all gonna get hacked.
Oh, and no way did he miss that.
You got 2 of them.
He missed it!
It was ambitious.
What?
Still works.
I'd rather have him get 2 than die before he gets the
I thought he
off.
didn't get any, to be fair. He
Missed
probably got
what?
the 2 that were coming in behind on the stairwell.
He did.
The EMP.
Because the others in the building,
Oh.
he just pulled the trigger a split second too early.
Nah, not Blase. Blase hit his
Yeah.
and got value this time.
Lucio becomes just a roller skating.
Aim God just saying hello while.
And Aim God, you know, just doing his job,
I mean, how do those roller skates?
giving out the old Ana salute.
Otto's asleep.
Like they're energy plates, man. If you hack them, like, how are they doing anything?
Let's not make him
Fusion's
Bye,
dies.
Fusion.
Bye.
Bye, Color Hex.
down 2. Meanwhile, they
I didn't see from that angle, but I didn't know Color Hex was within range of that bomb.
Oh, buddy.
Getting hacked.
Samsung gets hacked,
Boston needs to
but
They're 1 fight away. Ambitious.
oh, now that hack did not miss.
Washington took flip.
They did.
Right now is a bunch of kills for Boston Uprising, and then so far they are holding.
I don't know if he got that hack off on the Winston. He did.
They got
Winston
that man
hacked.
advantage. They got the man advantage right now. They just need to take advantage of it.
They're so low. Oh, knocks him into the
Oh,
Fusion.
everybody's running into the mine.
This one should
Yeah,
be
Fusion
all
knocked him into the
Boston.
mines.
Cleaning
But
up.
still, that cap was huge, because that buys the Washington Justice time to get back.
And remember, The rule,
Right. They're
85%.
gonna have to coalesce and send
That's
here.
the percent that you need to
Coalesce,
stop
make it
them from
pressure
getting
down
the point,
far
and
into
that's
Scott.
not what Boston had. Well, they're going the long way around, so I'm worried that they're not going to get there in time.
Otto got the boom on fusions!
Oh, and Giannis gets RCK. This is huge.
Yeah,
Kellex
and
is low. Color Hex goes down. Blaze's trying to do what
Blase
he
got
can,
hacked.
but he's hacked. That is huge. Huge recontest.
Yeah, Boston made a mistake by letting Washington get capped during the mid fight. That was the deciding factor on that point. Because if Washington hadn't gotten that flip, that would have been the last fight of the map.
Yep, that would have been it.
Instead of Washington getting a recontest fight.
Away from going into the break with some momentum in their rebuilding period to beat a rock-solid team like Boston.
Rock solid, he says. Rock solid, he says.
Yeah, Boston's rock. Fusions is rock solid.
The team is not.
Going to be monstrous on them because it's almost worse when you're the team. You're just not supposed to lose. You're at that level above.
Not supposed
you're not
to
supposed to lose. And at this
He's
point,
back.
Now, classic 3-3 on both sides.
Yep.
Obviously,
No surprises.
it's what you run on Mecha Base.
Giannis just runs into
Giannis
the back.
just runs straight in and just gets annihilated. I don't know what.
They were trying to all infusions again. It just didn't work out this time. Oh,
They've got
stall
that
kill
one
on
picked up.
Otto.
That was about as clean as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Loads of ult charge as well picked up for Boston. Uprising.
RCK just sitting on top looking for some,
Yeah, no, what happened, there was some pretty good support play from Boston. Giannis and the rest of the Washington were trying to rush down fusions, and they would have, but between Kellex and RCK, the two, well, and Blase, they were able to knock Giannis
Arc just
out of
gets
position.
annihilated.
That would just be a terrible shock.
And
that's
some
another
stagger
lost
kills
fight.
here.
Yep, that fight is over before it even began. Completely one-sided in favor of Boston there. And now, speaking
I think the only person who got any value in that fight on Justice was Sleepy, getting lots of orbs in to get his Transcendence.
Yeah.
Color Hex is 75%. You imagine that gets to a Graviton Surge during the next fight. And Self-Destruct gets there as well. What's most important is that they're just that much far ahead of their counterparts on the other side. So Boston, on paper, has all the abilities to win this next fight.
Yeah, there's the round.
No.
Self-destruct instantly done. This has been RCK's way of dealing with these kinds of pushes. He's not
Aggressive
trying to
trans,
Color
but they're
Hex
not
is
getting
just
anything out of it.
Diva bombs in
So
to
Color Hex
split Washington
probably
up or to slow down their
gonna get a
push.
free grab.
So
Yeah, he's gonna get a free grab here.
They use Transcendence, which is always thought of as the defensive counter to Graviton Surge. It's not there.
Yep, there it
There's
is.
three caught in it. Those
Yep, and Corey melted, Giannis melted, Otto melted.
Out. Instant back here from the rest of Washington trying to get back.
The three people in that grab were just completely destroyed, and Boston is destroying on this map. They are playing absolutely flawless.
Micro missiles and the boost is down. I mean, the upside is you don't have to reload. That doesn't stop me from smashing aura
Let's
every
see.
2 seconds when I'm playing Diva.
Corey,
You don't have to reload.
Washington has bigger bomb combo and also has beat
Yeah, no, Washington has the ultimate.
bomb over the top.
Self-destructs, and that's
Color Hex
Doesn't
gets
give
caught
anybody-
out.
Yeah, Color Hex gets killed, which is huge.
Boston Uprising. This is a must-win fight now for Washington Justice.
And there goes Aim God.
They want to keep it alive and stop it from going the distance.
They will lose this fight very likely. There's a Shatter that comes down, doesn't find a whole lot.
There's Blase.
Wow, Grav as well with the man advantage. They're still
They used all their ults to get that point.
They have thrown everything at that final fight. They do
Otto
have the flip.
still has Rally and
100%
Sansum still
Boston
has
Uprising.
But that went
bomb.
about as well.
Or is going down.
And
Boston in a
some,
fight, there was
yeah.
no reason
Sleepy should be able to get
Sleepy has a chance to get
And Boston
two
Trans.
Transcendents.
through that fight initially.
And based on how he's
Getting
been
separated
performing,
at
he
top,
should get
and then
it
they
in
only
this
had two
fight.
supports at the low,
Yeah.
and they didn't rotate quickly enough, so that fight was over.
Unless Boston
very
engages
early on,
hard
and then
super
to grab
early.
like that against a team at 99%. They're in trouble. They're in deep trouble right now.
Struggle is real. Oh man, he nearly stuck it. That would have been big. Instead, it is going to be the last second challenge here from Washington. Once again,
Bomb-
RCK with the
bombing
self-destruct,
from,
this time eliminated
RCK.
by
They
Corey.
flip
He
it.
dies.
Back in a mech. Yeah, guys,
RCK
RCK dies! Corey's down! The Trans didn't get there in time.
Once again,
Fusion Shatter gets nothing.
throwing the shatter out there.
Yep, sadly he The only person he would have hit was that
Fusion's
Zen,
low.
but the Zen was in
Transcendence
Trans to
Neon's
save
got
Fusion's
booped off the map by
Otto's gonna
Kellex.
die.
Boston has this.
Yep, that's the fight. That's the point. That's the game. Well, the map, at least.
Well, no, not the map, the point.
Corey trying to run through, but it's not going to be quick enough. Tied up.
I mean,
Second.
it's not the entirety of the Busan map, but it's also a map on Busan. I don't know.
Boston running out on the
It's a
DPS
map,
comp
but
again.
it's not a map.
That was a big blunder. It didn't end up costing him.
Blaze's on Tracer this time instead of Farah.
And I would have to agree with that, since, again, he did get a huge, a huge barrage the last time, but
Playing the logo.
more likely than not, he has not been very effective on that Farah.
Oh, yeah. And then Aim God and Calyx are... Calyx is actually on the Lucio this time as opposed to the...
And another issue is that...
Washington adapting.
Oh! And Arc just gets picked. Color Hex, again, just
Lands a shot.
Corey, though, that could be
landing his shots now.
But yeah,
Unlike,
now Corey's on
gets chipped down half, but we are still 6
Sombra.
Corey's on the Sombra.
So Washington
running
seems to be
dive.
adapting throughout this series to what they've been seeing.
I feel like if they get...
She's shown to you and decloaked, but also because she's invisible, you're able to give your team the scouting information they need of where's the
RCK
Widow, where's the
going
Tracer,
low.
where is everybody? Because this composition, they're all over the place, and you
I
can't
kinda
keep
want
track of them all.
Washington to swap to that just 2-2-2 dive. I feel like that would do good for them right here.
A lot of the team's resources into him trying to keep him alive. Washington trying to press the advantage here. Blaze still working in the back line though, trying to find some damage.
Huge anti-nade for Boston. That was massive.
Big play from Fusion. Otto's getting staggered.
He will get tickled down.
Yeah.
50% for Boston. And our final point of Busan, our final point in this series, winner takes all. And that was as bad as it gets for Washington. They switched compositions early, still have yet to get an ultimate online. Boston just sitting on checkmark after checkmark.
Yeah, that's the brutal thing. These fights.
Now let's see what the Justice are going to do here. 4 ults, 5 ults actually for Boston.
To 0.
To 0. Maybe they get the EMP or the, actually 3. They get 3 ults here.
Yeah. Well, it depends on that.
They get no ults here, as the hack is huge. But Giannis gets color hacks. Sam gets RCK. Arc gets Blaze. Never mind the Justice on a...
It's about as good as that fight could have gone for Washington. You expect the EMP to
Corey
come
getting
out,
some
be the
big
fight and all,
hacks.
but now they have it for next fight, and they're going to need it. At
That was
99%,
massive.
Boston
Now
is
they
one
have to
single point
defend
away
this
from taking that
to
point
the
back
death.
from the map taking the series. Washington has to win every fight from here on out.
Well,
got
if
EMP.
Boston are going to start donating fights, then it's not looking as grim as it did a moment ago.
Yeah,
Oh, that EMP was a huge fail.
But they still win!
But they still win it?
for it, but
That's so sick.
They still win.
God, you beast.
if style points were Overwatch League wins, that would be right there in the win column.
Or was that the worst timing possible? Maybe AimGod was actually, because that was the angle, right? So maybe AimGod was shooting at somebody behind him, and
yeah.
Corey just walked into that sleep dart at the worst possible time.
It's hard to know without replays coming up. As the current state of things is, 40%.
Giannis jumps
Washington
in, but
can win
everybody
this
kind of
fight.
avoids him.
No, Color Hex
Otto goes
stops
down.
off.
Giannis gets melted but gets the sound barrier on him.
Giannis right now.
He's
Oh, and
fighting
now he's
color
after
hex
color
in the
hex.
back.
He's gonna die.
He
Got
gets a
color
color
hex.
hex before
Color
he
hex.
dies.
Calyx goes down.
Sleepy gets
Sleepy gets
AimGod.
AimGod.
That is huge.
They've gotten all the kills they need.
They can't go in anymore.
Boston had to
threat of a
back
hack.
out.
Fusion's going all the way back. This is that.
Okay, here's the sleep dart.
Let's see it. Because this is. Oh, no, he hits it.
Oh no, he saw him too.
Wow. Wow, that was sick.
He saw him and reacted.
The reactions on AimGod.
Territory here at
There's a
70%.
reason he's called AimGod.
The winner of this fight will win the series.
Here,
Like-
Oh,
oh,
no.
AimGod
AimGod
already
gets
down
taken
before
down.
EMP comes in from Boston.
Need to do some work here, RCK.
Boston's EMP is
Get in there.
not going to get any
Zero
value.
value.
Showing the way.
Zero value.
north, and they are
Way too
really
late.
pouring on the pressure.
Color Hex dies
Hex
late.
on Color Hex.
Oh no, Boston's getting staggered.
Washington Justice, they could get the job done right here and now. Boston Uprising, there's only 4 of them alive, 5 of them alive now, but they're running back in one at a time.
They're just trying to stall out. Fusion's gonna die
Fusion's immediately down.
and taken out. Justice are gonna
You know,
Unbelievable. Justice, they have got it all going their way right now. They just need to keep it together. Excellent bio nade onto Otto and Corey. Giannis is going down as well. Zentham gets hacked. I mean, Boston trying to do the best they can to bring it back, and so far it's looking good.
Kelix has been up top on this drum the entire time.
I mean, surely
there's
that was a huge
as soon as
he's
Sansum knocks them off,
Alex as well.
as soon as Sansum knocks them off, they're done.
Getting all the attention, and that is it. Unbelievable. The Washington Justice.
Justice just
They go
holy.
the distance versus the.
The
So
staggers were huge.
the staggers and the plays from Washington were absolutely huge. Between Giannis's engagement timings, like the reason they won, despite the fact that Corey got slept in the middle of his EMP animation, Giannis was still in motion and they went for it anyways. And Aim God was in front of the rest of the Boston team and was able to be focused down immediately.
I just feel like the issue was that
Boston fed.
Boston just gave them too many fights.
Give 'em free
Because if we look at it from who played better that game, it was Boston. Boston clearly outplayed Washington more than Washington outplayed Boston. But Washington made Boston earn all their fights instead of giving up fights. And that was the reason why they won.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think Washington actually, in some places, played better and surpassed Boston.
Oh, for sure. I 100% agree. It's just that...
On the whole, yeah, Washington definitely had some of their fights given to them by Boston. And also, I gotta say, the multi-DPS from Boston really didn't work, except for on... it worked on Lijiang, but that was the only time we saw it really work out for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it definitely really worked for Lijiang.
Yeah, Lijiang, they played it well. It worked. But then, even on top of Anubis, when they went to the multi-DPS, it really didn't really pay off all that much.
And I just felt like every time they tried to run it, just there was somebody there that just ended up not impacting the fight on the DPS front.
Anubis, it was...
Whether it be Color Hex, RCK, or...
Yeah. Well, or Washington just playing around the comp really well. They got...
Exactly.
Washington played better as the series went on. And I don't just, they just started playing against Boston better. No, I think we saw some legitimate team improvements as...
Oh, for sure. They definitely played a lot better as a team overall.
And
this
also
game.
Probably the most consistent person in that match, actually, I think, is Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis was very consistent on outplaying Fusions, especially on Rialto.
On Rialto, and then I think also third map, we saw a lot of Giannis just playing better.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what the third map was. That was hybrid, so Blizzard World. So I think a lot of this boiled down to Washington continues to grow as a team, and then Boston just seems lost as far as direction for improvement, because we're seeing a lot of the same problems. Boston, why did Boston lose to Shanghai? Well, Shanghai also improved, but Washington's kind of stagnating.
Exactly.
Boston's kind of stagnating.
And that's why Boston's middle of the pack. I mean, they're 7-7. Losing to
Washington.
They're losing to the bad teams and also winning against good
decent
teams. But
decent teams. Like, they're not playing.
When you're losing to
Some of the worst
the
teams,
teams that are doing terribly, but improving, and you're losing against the big guns,
like,
it's without showing any improvement whatsoever.
mm-hmm.
It's just... You gotta change something at some point, Boston.
Yeah, I think takeaways from this, things I would say if I were to like be the coach of Washington Justice, I'd keep making these improvements because they obviously with Arc in the pack, they seem to do a lot better in terms of communicating, and figuring their way through these matches. Because
I definitely agree with that. I feel like given more time with this break for stage 3 until stage 3, I feel like Washington will be
a middle of the pack team.
A middle of the pack team, for sure.
Yeah.
With Arc in there, and maybe if they get any other additions to the
any new additions
team.
Or any new strategies they come up with. Because
yep.
I mean, they just ran 3-3 into the ground that match, but like,
yeah,
they were doing some things differently as the series went on, and with how they played the 3-3. Like, we kept seeing them evolve in ways to deal with the triple DPS. We saw initially they just didn't make any changes, and except playing an Ana. Then they
or a Moira.
Then they evolved to a Moira, and then they evolved to a Sombra Moira.
Uh-huh.
And it ended up paying off their adaptations. So I think Washington Justice will be a team that can start adapting to the teams they play against. Boston, I think as the way the team needs to move forward is they need to stop leaning so heavily on Fusions to all the micro. Like, it's good that Fusions can do the micro. He's obviously really intelligent with his calls, and obviously he's a big part of
for sure.
And a big part of why when Washington wins that they do so well. But at the same time, the microing is often something that's like at this point is so necessary to the team that when he's not able to do an effective job, like when he goes down in a fight, they're even more at a disadvantage than they would be if they had lost any other main tank in the league, any other team with their main tank.
Yeah, they need to other than Fusions, obviously, Boston needs to learn how to actually do the micro.
Well, it's not like somebody needs to be calling micro. It's just that somebody needs to take over for Fusions when he's down and keep them as cohesive as Fusions does. And I don't know who on their team would necessarily do that because I don't know all their players all that well. But at least in terms of like knowing their effectiveness at doing shot calls or what heroes they play, I don't know any of that. But somebody on the team needs to be this backup in case Fusions goes down and be able to take over the reins immediately after. Because
when teams are playing against you and are just basically they're just like, all right, we just kill this one person and then the team fights one. That's not what you want.
Yeah, look at, like, we were talking about Vancouver earlier with Bumper, where Bumper's dying at first in a lot of these fights, but still the team ends up winning. And, like, that's something that obviously other teams, if they played as well as Vancouver, could do. But obviously that wouldn't be possible if Bumper were anything like Fusions. Like, if Bumper were that kind of essential of a shot caller, it wouldn't work. It would not work. But it's because Vancouver doesn't rely on Bumper, and they don't need to rely on him because he's doing what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Boston just needs to figure out a way to not rely on Fusion's micro.
Basically, become a team, don't become a one-man show.
Yeah. Yeah, not to say that Fusions hasn't done a good job managing the players in these matches, but he's one guy and he can only do so much. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I hope everyone at home enjoyed. And if you do, please like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Helps me out. And yeah, thanks Switz for joining me for this recording.
Yeah, no problem.